And we will start tonight's informal open mic. Since there are only two of us right now, Kavita, you are number one, and I will be reader number two. And the process will be the same as with previous open mics. Each person who's going to read will read a poem, pass it to the next person, and when that's finished, we'll start again until we've run out of breath, but never until we run out of poems because we don't have that much time. So Kavita, if you would be so kind, take us away. Kavita has kindly consented, and this may not be your first reading, but Kavita kindly consented to read a poem for someone who could not attend. And those of you who work with me may recognize Adam Fisher. He was so excited to have a poem read, and I'm glad that we can do that and have it recorded for him to enjoy. So Kavita, are you going to read yours first or Adam's?
What would you like me to do? Adam's first?
Start with Adam's if you don't mind.
Okay, so this one is called Welcome Noise, and it's by Jim's friend Adam. Welcome Noise. The day before, there was nothing. A vast void of lights, artificial, of course. Streets going nowhere. Honks, vrooms, beeps, screeches, shouts, blasts, hammerings, mammerings, stammerings, and plenty unmentionable greasy greetings to fill grease-filled air. Noise, chaos. This day, arising in God's smile, there was light. Real light, of course, and paths who stretch toward eternity. Flumph, flumph. The burner bubbles, the tin cans coffee, that blessed arranged marriage, racing to greet and serve the other pair. Rumph, rumph. Helpful hitchhikers, strapped, hanging fit, filled, ready to burst, ready to accompany. Afternoon awakens. Courteous giants embrace, softly shielding the crew of two. Wuck, 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 wuck. The woodpecker responds to beetles' whines. Others chirp to harmonize. Whoosh. Rivers and rocks listen, join arms and dance, taking no note of any who attempt to cut in. Closing act. The moon takes the stage for her silent solo. Perfect cutout, exemplar to the stars. Who, sings someone familiar. Neighbors softly supplement the song, chirping, buzzing, humming, howling. Small friends scurry for a snack. No one minds. Unusual encore. A quarter rest turns whole. The measure continues until each eyelash finds a companion for the night. It was all welcome noise. Thank you.
Thank you. And for those of you who've tuned in from my work colleagues, poems that write sounds that are not words are difficult. And Adam did a really good job of writing those sounds, and Kavita did a marvelous job of reading them so that they sounded like they were supposed to. That's just delightful.
Kavita, Jim, are we supposed to? I'm sorry. Are we supposed to clap after? I don't. Yeah. What is the custom? I'm sorry. I have you on two different screens. That's why I'm looking around. What is customary at a poem at a poetry reading? Because I wanted to clap, but I didn't want to be a imbecile.
Clap now so Adam will hear you. And you can silent clap. I've seen people do this on a Zoom meeting when they're muted.
I thought about going all Kerouac style, but okay, got it.
There we are. Kavita, would you like to read a poem of yours now?
Okay, I will. This one is called Sounds of the Sea. Sorry, Jim, you were saying something.
I was just going to welcome Rio Cortez, but she's not even fully connected yet. You go ahead.
Okay, this one's called Sounds of the Sea. It's also about noise. My poems are born from noise. You must create your own inner stillness. The sea carries its clamor into the poems. My father writes to the symphony of the waves. Salty sea spray splash his pages, sound and sense in rhythmic balance. He hears sea music in darkness and in light. Even the noisy gulls have a song of their own. The sea dictates his choice of home. He is a Masefield of sorts. Sometimes he places the squealing baby, his much-loved second child, under his left arm to relieve my mother. Writes his poems with his right hand, unfazed by the loud cries of the infant. At my childhood home by the dancing sea, the 4 a.m. chorus of Bombay birds, their built-in microphones arouse the sleepless city. Sky, tree, rooftop proclaim their presence. Unlike Sandberg's fog, the light does not come in on little cat feet. It pours through the windows flamboyantly. To sleep through noise is a learned response. The high-pitched whines of the cicadas, the garish glare of the street lamps. My mother dislikes noise, but she adds to it. Stumbling into the kitchen half awake, frying onions loudly for the curry, sizzling sounds, pungent smells announce the lunch and supper menu. The tea boiling on the stove, the slow frying fish, the round fluffy rotis all declare their existence volubly. The clatter of aluminium lunch boxes for 3 children before the shuddering school bus arrives. The bus conductor slaps the side of the bus. Chalo, chalo, he shouts in Hindi, meaning let's go. Father writes his poems to the noise of the city. He says the noise in the city is matched by the noise in his spirit. He writes hymns in metaphoric darkness. I write poems to the sound of the snowplow, the yelping of the coyotes, the howling wind, sea memories swirling constantly. Thank you.
Thank you. Excellent. So I will be next, and I'm going to read a poem that was born of my work in the jail and the difficulties of dealing with people who do things like going on hunger strikes. This is called Weightless. Oh, let me share my screen for this because you need to see the shape of the poem. Okay. Solitary, it's a dirty word for well-earned reasons. 10 by 12-foot cage, dimly lit, where 23 of 24 hours are allowed to squeeze the mind like a lemon, crush the spirit like a junkyard car passing through the press again until all roundness is gone. Only jagged square edges remain to testify of what once was sleek. The only escape, hunger strike, weightless, free. All right. Kavita, it's your turn again.
Oh, okay. I'm going to read a poem that's called The Promise of the Land, and it was published in Verse Virtual, whose editor is right here. The Promise of the Land. The year 1984. The place, Jewish Club, Bombay, India. The exact location, opposite the University of Bombay with easy access by bus. We go by the yellow and black taxi we can't afford, but go we must. The main characters, Israeli immigration officer, small family, one hopeful husband, reluctant wife, and innocent toddler. Other characters, 3 or 4 happy families with small children. We smile awkwardly at each other. I'm the only one with the non-Jewish husband. I can tell we all have that nose. He doesn't. My toddler son already displaying that characteristic. Son of a Jewish mother is Jewish. He cannot escape that. He wears it proudly. This is not a play. It's a true story. The setting is real. The characters are real. I fought hard not to go to the office. He starts quoting St. Paul, always out of context. Wives, submit to your husbands. I submitted only to keep the peace. What about husbands, love your wives? He doesn't recite the complete verse, only the first half of the verse, conveniently. I'm impatient. Then suddenly it's our turn. The immigration officer is Sabra, born in Israel. He looks kind. I feel a little better. We sit down. He starts the questioning. I see you're not Jewish, he says to my husband. No, I'm Catholic. My husband was Jewish. Oh, sorry, my uncle was Jewish. Why do you want to go to Israel? It's full of challenges. You already have half of Israel in your house. When you get to Israel, you will have the other half. Are you ready to go to the army? Yes. He's saying yes to everything except the Jewish part. When we got home, he said, don't you believe in next year in the promised land? The promised land, the promise of the land is not for everyone, I say. I recite the Shema like the Sabbath candles. I moved to a land with different promises. For my father's birthday, we gave him a book of Jewish jokes. He takes it in the spirit in which it was given. He was a poet, never wanted to leave India. My aunt in Israel writes us a letter. Don't come here, she says. Life is very hard. If you do come, I will help as much as I can. Life is hard here too. 2 lands with promise. Some have land, others mere promises. Thank you.
There were some absolutely delightful lines in that poem, Kavita.
Thank you.
And I love the fact that you wove that humor of family life and moving countries together so well.
Thank you. That was a true story.
It sounded very true. I am going to share a poem about my favorite topic, chocolate. And this is called More Than Cake. Rich chocolate aroma permeates every room, teases taste buds, and laughs aloud at the sudden contraction of salivary glands, stomach set growling like a dog with a new bone. Coaxes memories out of hiding, plays the lost recording of mother laughing as you lick the spoon, dark batter dotting your nose. Coats your throat with pleasure pain, ice cold milk in giant gulps, and almost headache forming. It hurts so good to remember. Would you like to read another poem, Kavita?
Sure. Seems like we have some telepathy going on here because my next poem is about food. And I had edited an anthology called Poetry on a Plate with Spicy Mango Pickle. So this one is from that anthology. How to Eat or Not Eat a Poem, the Indian version. A take on how to eat a poem by Eve Marion. While eating a poem, don't drown it in curry. Don't eat it with spicy pickle. Don't wear white clothes. The turmeric might stain the poem and the clothes. Don't put too much chili powder. Don't dip the naan too much into the curry. The poem might disappear along with the naan. Don't put too much garnish. That will destroy the original images. Sprinkle a little cilantro for greenery. Instead, eat it with your fingers. Eat it in a thali, few words and lines at a time, in small stainless steel vatis. Eat it sitting on a chatai, on the floor, not at the table. You may make slurping sounds only if you are eating at home. But best of all, if you're going to eat a poem, eat it with love. That's the most important thing about eating food or poetry. Thank you.
I like that.
Well, sorry, could I say something? You are both well, and Adam too. You're incredibly talented. I just want to say that telepathy. I'm literally eating spicy mango pickle right now.
Oh, good.
There's some kismet going on here. I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm having naan. I'm having naan for supper after the call, so that works perfect.
It's
That's
what they call
wonderful.
a sim. We're in the sim. We're in the simulation.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
like
My,
we're
my,
in the
sur-
matrix.
Dan knows about that.
no, my surrogate mother, like second mother growing up, I'm from Edison, New Jersey, if you're familiar, always loved that I would eat the spicy mangoed pickle that her son couldn't tolerate, and I would just wolf it down. So all of the Indian food references are very much resonating for me.
Thank you. That's wonderful. Excellent.
How fun. Well, we haven't hit the 8 o'clock mark, and since Dan is still with us, I'm going to share a poem, again, not about poetry so much, but about poets. And in the same vein as how to swallow up, how to eat a poem, this is called How to Seduce a Poet. If the poet is male, show up wearing nothing except a dust cover, slick and colorful. Let it drop to the floor, flutter a page or two as though eyelashes were kissing his fingertips. Exhale the scent of printer's ink and leather binding. Intoxicate him, but not too much or too soon. Once you have his attention, and trust me you do, invite him to open the cover, run his hand down the title page, and done. He is yours completely. He will be awake all night. If the poet is female, try showing up in softback, nothing to prove, no explanations. Turn so she can read the rear jacket testimonials, see what makes you worth perusing, worth pursuing. Quote, if you will, an intimate poem. Pull something from Malay, hinting that you'll remember every kiss, even if Edna did not, that you know nothing of forgetting midnight cries. Lay her hand gently on the abstract cover, art that speaks of mystery, of possibility. Draw her in with the first verse, unassuming, unafraid. Be vulnerable, be brave, knowing that her eyes will open wide at the words tattooed along your spine. Slip her a folded note that says, I left a review. Her resistance is gone. For either, recite the final verse of your latest poem without explanation, without apology for what came before. Leave what comes after to imagination. That's probably as risque as I ever get.
That's lovely. I love it though. It's excellent.
So at this point, I personally think I have read as much as I would care to for tonight. So if all of you, any of you, would like to unmute and just join a discussion, we'll do that.
I have a question, Jim.
Yes, Priscilla.
Do we have to read poems that we make or write, or can we read others poets, famous poets, poetry, or?
You may read any poem that you like, as long as you tell us where it's from.
Okay, I see.
Not required that it be yours. Always, this is an opportunity to share your own poetry if you write, but it's always of interest to me to hear people read someone else's poetry, just as Kavita did for Adam's poem. I like to listen to people read my poetry because it gives me a very different impression than what I have in my own mind.
I see. Thank you.
And then if I may ask a question. So in life, they say that we should journal to process our thoughts and get them out of the mind and put them on the paper. So do poems serve that purpose for you both?
I would say yes, because so much of what I write is based on my life experiences and my own emotions. Just like the Weightless poem of dealing with patients in jail who go on hunger strikes and suffer terribly for it.
I have, I kind of a failed attempt at writing in journals because I have so many journals scattered all around the house. And then I forget, which poem I was writing where. And so eventually I just go to the computer and start up a poem. I may not finish it, but yes, the poems are generally all coming from true life, real life experiences, and then they're just being given expression. I don't usually even edit them too much. I call it poking and prodding. If you poke and prod a poem too much, it's just not going to be in your own voice. I like to find my voice and write in my voice. I'm sure Jim does the same.
Very much so. And interestingly enough, there is a camp of poets who claim that a poem is never finished, that you must keep revising it forever and ever and ever. I happen to disagree with that, even though the poems that those people produce are really, really good poems. My personal style is that I do revising as I'm writing. I may have half the poem written and realize that I need to change a line in the first stanza, or I'll finish it, read it aloud to myself and realize that it doesn't flow the way I want it to. So I make those changes at the time. It's really unusual for me to go back 20 years later and find a poem that I've written and go, oh, wow, I can tweak this. I need to edit that. I need to put this here. I need to get rid of that word or that line. I don't do that. And people look at me funny, but that's okay. I'm used to that.
And sometimes with voice, I think some people try, they'll read other people's poetry, then try to change it to suit, and it becomes a blend of a mixed blend. It doesn't, and I prefer, I never have done that. I've written what is true to my feeling, and so my voice comes out, whether it's humorous or whether it's serious or whatever it is. So voice, I think, in poetry is really important, and people learn to say, oh, I know this poem because this is that person's voice, and it's very obvious that that voice is there.
And for those of my work colleagues who are joining in the book club experience of reading my poetry book, Leave a Light On, you will notice as you read poem after poem through the book, whether you sit down and read two at a time or the whole book at once, you will find that there is a voice there. You will see my personality in those poems. I don't write intentionally to make that happen. That is simply the result of how I write. And that's true for any poet.
Yeah, and so, oh, go ahead. No, Suchet.
Okay, can I ask a question? Oh, sorry, Suchet.
Yeah, sorry. No, Jim, I missed yesterday because I had stuff going on with the kids. But I would really love to see the book. I didn't. If you're able to send a copy, I'm very interested.
Sadie has the PDF of that, and we'll send it to you.
Oh, wonderful! Thanks, Sadie.
Can I ask a question to people who write poetry?
Please.
So first, thank you for having me here in my own creative element. It actually worked out wonderfully that I could do both at once. I've never shared. This is the first poetry reading I've ever been to, and I'm happy to say that I'm jaded and cynical and like punk rocky guy, but this is really nice. So thank you. It was nice sharing this. I guess my question is, like, in general, when you make something, when you write something, and we talked about poems never even being done, but like, how often do you, like, I guess I'm going to ask it in a quasi-autism spectrum disorder way. What is your, it's not inter-rater reliability, what is your own personal reliability with how you assess or think or feel about what you wrote after you wrote it compared to maybe coming back to it a day, a week, or a month later? And is there any other variables that affect how you might think about it immediately after you wrote out it versus when you come back a day, a week, or a month later? I can clarify if you want, but probably get it.
Let me answer that, and then I'll ask Kavita to chime in.
Okay.
I, almost without exception, I know when I have written a good poem.
Okay.
I very seldom do I go back later and go, that was a piece of garbage. Why did I even write that? Or go back later and say, wow, that was better than I thought. I generally have a sense of how well the poem works and whether it expresses what I set out to do. And that is because the way I write poetry comes from the way I think. I am so extemporaneous. I get a thought, I may get a poetry prompt and sit down and start writing. I posted a picture of my mother, may she rest forever in peace. Yesterday would have been her 92nd birthday. She died at age 58. And I posted a picture of her very young. I was born when she was 19. But the photo that I posted, someone else responded to and said, her mouth is set in softness and determination. And my poet brain said, oh yes, there is a poem right there. And so people can say, I pick up sentences, phrases, things that just really catch me that say, this doesn't have to be a poem about my mother and her having cancer. This is a poem about women and what I see as their strengths, softness and determination. So I will write that poem. I just don't know when.
Thank you for this is it's a new world to me. I was just kind of curious about the creative process.
It's sorry if I could so I write too. I don't write poetry. I write songs generally. And I've tried to write all kinds of things. I don't have the discipline to write anything longer than 3 minutes though. So but I've always found, I don't know, I come up with ideas in the middle of the night which seem like amazing and incredible, and then the morning comes and they are not so much. So I've definitely not had the same experience as far as knowing what's good and what's not good. For myself, I also am incredibly sensitive to rejection and so on. So I'm very bad at being objective or taking taking other people's input. So it's one of the reasons I don't perform and stuff, I guess.
But Suchet, have you come back to that same song at exactly that same time of night the next night?
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Well, so there's definitely a thing, right? About the place that you're in mentally, yeah, physically, geographically, all of those things. It definitely influences your perception of your own stuff and other people's stuff, like for sure. So yeah, I've changed my mind on things. Like I've gone back and forth, like this is great, this is terrible, this is great. Like I've done that. Yeah, I also have problems with finishing things. So I start a lot of things which end up like abandoned. So.
I don't know if you see my backdrop behind me, but I have difficulty finishing things a lot.
I wouldn't even know where to start in that room right now. Like that, it's overwhelming just to see all those tools.
This is my creative outlet. No, and this is, and it's interesting. I play music. There's a guitar hanging over there. I write music, but I haven't tried to force myself to write something and finish it. So it's interesting. Thank you. And just my own experience, I know I'll come up with something I think is great in the moment. Next morning, I might think, oh, that was stupid and self-indulgent. Following evening, I might think, no, it was completely genuine, to the point that I've even wanted to do like video arguments of myself, like essentially keep a running thing of me arguing with myself at different frames of mind, which seems like dissociative identity disorder. It's not, but it's it comes along this like how does one assess their creation? It's interesting. Anyway, I'll shut up. Thank you. Actually, I need to get back to my girls. Thank you, everybody. This was like really nice and meaningful. So
thank you for showing up. We do this every 2 weeks.
Bye, Dr. Mundy.
Hey, when I can show, call me. All right, call me Dan. Call me. I'm sorry, I monitor. Please call me Dan. Thank you so much for letting me crash. I appreciate it. All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
I was gonna say two things. One is I always say, whatever shapes my life shapes my poetry. So whatever's going on in life at the moment, and just like Jim said, it could be a line with something somebody said, something somebody wrote, or just something that is outside your window, or a bird is doing something spectacular, or a tree, and things like that. And the other thing I always say is that, it's a quotation I wrote, is that poets are troubled souls searching for lighted paths. And my daughter once said to me, can't you find a different hobby? Because you're always seem to be so preoccupied. And sometimes your family is talking to you and you're off somewhere else in your head. And you're writing a poem. And, showers are like that. I had a line, shower, why do you take so long? And the reason is there's something going on in your head and you forgot what you were actually doing in there. So poems can come at any time, and you lose it if you don't have that notebook. So I have a towel there and a notebook and a pen, and I just wipe my hands quickly and write that particular line. It's not too many lines that come at such times. And the other thing is I can sense when the poem is just a skeleton of the poem and needs to be fleshed out, but the basic idea is there. So I don't want to lose that one. So then I write it down in on the computer, because this journal thing is very, I don't know how many there are here, and I'm trying to downsize the journals, but it's not happening. So I just go to the computer, and there's many things. There's a prompt, like Jim said, a line somebody wrote about his mother, and it just sets a poet off, or a writer. It could be a line for a novel or a whatever, so it's
True.
like that. The act of creation is like that.
It is, and it's lovely. I'm going to, at this point, stop recording, but I'm not closing the meeting.